I will be the first all-elite wrestling champion.
This is what you wanted. Well, fine. War done. You're out of the elite.
I will give you cowboy shit.
This is the story of how Adam Page became the Hangman, and how the Hangman became a millennial cowboy, and how the cowboy redeemed himself.
And my mom, my dad, my sister, they're looking me in the eyes, and they're telling me, Adam, you gotta quit.
Long before he was the Hangman, Adam Page was just Stephen Blake Woltz, a small-town kid from Aaron's Creek, Virginia, born July 27, 1991. Growing up in the countryside, Page learned the value of hard work early, splitting time between school, wrestling dreams, and working on his family's farm. He began his in-ring journey in 2008 at just 15 years old, wrestling for small promotions across Virginia and North Carolina. Places like CWF Mid-Atlantic and PWX became his proving ground. By 2011, he was catching the eye of bigger promotions, working for Evolve, PWX, and getting his first taste of Ring of Honor in dark matches.
All right!
That's gonna be it.
On his head, and Adam Page wins it.
Bullet Club for life.
By 2011, Adam Page had made inroads into Ring of Honor, wrestling undercard matches that hardly hinted at the role he'd one day fill. In 2014, he found footing as a heel by joining the veteran-led faction The Decade, led by Jimmy Jacobs and BJ Whitmer. Then came 2016's War of the Worlds tour. In a shocking betrayal during a 10-man tag, Page turned on friends and aligned himself with the notorious Bullet Club. He solidified his new identity by using a hangman's noose, literally hanging Chris Sabin, to earn his iconic nickname, Hangman. Just weeks after joining Bullet Club, Page made his New Japan Pro Wrestling debut under the name Hangman Page on June 19, 2016 at Dominion in Osaka-jo Hall. Arguably one of his most personal and defining singles matches came in 2018, when he faced Kenny Omega at Wrestling Dontaku, his first main event singles match in Japan. This bout came amid tension and mixed loyalties inside Bullet Club. Page caught between friendship and ambition. When AEW was officially announced in January 2019, Adam Page was presented as one of the company's cornerstones. His friendship with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, built during their time in Ring of Honor and New Japan, played a huge role. Page wasn't just another wrestler, he was family to the Elite. At Double or Nothing 2019, Page won the Casino Battle Royale, earning a shot at the inaugural AEW World Championship. Though he fell short against Chris Jericho at All Out, this loss planted the seeds of self-doubt that became central to his character. He began to feel like the odd man out within the Elite, the weakest link among superstars. The turning point came when Page teamed with Kenny Omega. At AEW Dynamite January 2020, they shocked the world by defeating SCU to win the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Together, they delivered instant classics, including their war against the Young Bucks at Revolution 2020, considered one of the greatest tag team matches of all time. But behind the scenes, cracks began to show. Page's growing insecurities, mixed with his reliance on alcohol as part of his persona, made him feel further isolated from the Elite. While Omega seemed laser-focused, Page struggled with trust and self-belief. The tension exploded when Page cost the Young Bucks a chance at the tag titles, leading to a heated fallout. By late 2020, it was clear Hangman Page was no longer part of the Elite. His friendship with the Bucks deteriorated, his partnership with Omega collapsed, and he was left completely alone. Ironically, Kenny, once his closest ally, would turn heel and side with the Bucks again, leaving Hangman as the cowboy who walked away from the group he once called family.
When you fall off, you get back up, you get back on the horse, you keep riding, blazing on ahead, because to me, that is cowboy shit.
Page began distancing himself from everyone, struggling with his failures. That's when the Dark Order, once a faction treated as outsiders themselves, extended their hand. This bond with the Dark Order became one of the most beloved relationships in AEW. They supported him during his lowest points, cheered for him during his battles, and gave him something he desperately needed: acceptance. He was vulnerable, battling self-doubt, anxiety, and loneliness, all while standing on the biggest stage of his career. A man struggling to believe in himself. This is where the term anxious millennial cowboy was born. Page's redemption arc built slowly over 2020 and 2021. By mid-2021, he was AEW's most beloved underdog. When Page challenged Kenny Omega, his former partner and now the dominant world champion, it felt like destiny. Their clash wasn't just about the title, it was about betrayal, friendship, and closure. At Full Gear 2021, Hangman Adam Page finally faced Kenny Omega for the AEW World Championship. The story came full circle: the anxious cowboy versus the cleaner. The broken friendship turned rivalry. The match was emotional, filled with callbacks to their history. In the end, Hangman hit the buckshot lariat and pinned Kenny Omega to become AEW World Champion. After the match, the Dark Order celebrated with him in the ring. Hangman had not only won the title, he had proven to himself and to the world that he belonged.
We are the heart, we are the soul, we are the spirit of this place.
After finally reaching the mountaintop at Full Gear 2021, Hangman Adam Page embraced his role as AEW World Champion. He survived wars against Bryan Danielson, including a legendary 60-minute draw and a brutal rematch that solidified his toughness. He defended against Lance Archer in a Texas death match and outlasted Adam Cole in their heated battles. By spring 2022, Hangman found himself face-to-face with CM Punk. Their rivalry became one of the most talked about storylines in AEW history, with real-life tension spilling into the ring. At Double or Nothing 2022, Punk defeated Hangman to capture the AEW World Championship. After losing the title, Hangman drifted into violent rivalries. None were more personal than his battles with Jon Moxley and the Blackpool Combat Club. Page and Moxley went to war in a trilogy of brutal matches, each fight testing Hangman's will. Their feud culminated in a Texas death match at Revolution 2023, where Page choked out Moxley with a chain. The BCC feud tied Hangman back to the Elite as they reunited to face the BCC in Blood and Guts 2023. The reunion wasn't just about matches, it was about healing broken friendships, as Hangman, Kenny, and the Young Bucks stood together once again. Adam Page's feud with Swerve Strickland began at WrestleDream 2023. When Swerve defeated him and instantly made the rivalry personal by targeting Page's character and a family life, the animosity escalated when Swerve broke into Page's home, even entering his child's room, crossing a line that pushed the story into deeply disturbing territory. In retaliation, Hangman shocked the world by burning down Swerve's childhood home, turning their conflict into one of AEW's most violent and emotionally charged feuds. The rivalry culminated at All Out 2024 inside a brutal steel cage match, featuring barbed wire, staple guns, cinder blocks, and even a syringe that Hangman used against Swerve before finishing him off with a vicious chair shot to secure victory. Their war blurred the lines between wrestling and raw personal hatred, with Swerve himself later calling it the best story AEW ever told. For Hangman, it marked a defining shift in his character, from the anxious millennial cowboy to a darker, morally unhinged anti-hero. And while his actions leaned into heel territory, fans still rallied behind him, proving the depth of their connection to his journey.
I don't want this opportunity. I need it.
Hangman's journey in 2025 began with a brutal Texas deathmatch victory over Christopher Daniels on Collision, a fight so intense it doubled as a symbolic passing of the torch. Hangman Adam Page's redemption arc reignited at AEW Revolution 2025, where he collided with MJF in a heated grudge match. MJF mocked Hangman's past failures and insecurities, calling him the anxious millennial cowboy once again. but Hangman fought back with a newfound edge, finally silencing the self-proclaimed generational talent with a career-defining win. That victory set the tone for his resurgence. Riding this momentum, Page entered the Owen Hart Cup, battling through the field and eventually outlasting Will Ospreay in an emotional final, proving he wasn't just back, he was better than ever. But the true pinnacle came at All In, Texas, where Page stood across the ring from Jon Moxley in a brutal Texas death match. The match was a violent spectacle, barbed wire, broken tables, and blood painting the canvas. But Hangman's endurance and heart carried him through. Page emerged victorious after wrapping a steel chain around Moxley's neck and hanging him over the top rope until Moxley tapped out, symbolically saving the company from the reign of the Death Riders. The crowd's eruption wasn't just for a title win, but for a man who had risen from self-doubt to stand as AEW's anchor once again. From self-doubt to redemption, Hangman's story is AEW's story. Every fall shaped his rise, every scar built his legacy. In 2025, the Cowboy finally became the heart of All Elite Wrestling,